I'm Dmitry Glukhovsky, the author of Metro 2033, and you're watching Connected Digital World.
Enjoyed the show?
Anything like this before.
Sorry, man. Time to move on.
I feel sorry
You
for the other performers
patron
now.
of the art.
Their attempts at impressing the audience might fall short after such a spectacle. But I trust they will handle the rest
Pavel
far better than they think.
Igovich, so glad to see you.
Our incredible
Where have
show
you been?
continues.
You don't like us
man.
anymore?
Hi, so would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Dmitry Glukhovsky, and I'm the author of the original novel behind all this fabulous game franchise. Metro 2033 is the name of the novel.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about the novels for those who haven't read them?
Well, the novel is about the World War III destroying the entire Earth. It's not exposed in the novel who started the war or why. It's clear that it starts somewhere between now and maybe within 2-3 years time range. The entire surface of Earth is becoming inhabitable and not suitable for people to live on. Billions of people are exterminated in the nuclear flames, and then the surface is contaminated with radiation and plagued with monsters created by viruses and radiation. And the few survivors that there are refugied in the tunnels and stations of the subway of Moscow. And there is no global communication, so those who survived hiding in the subway of Moscow do not know if anyone in the rest of the world has also made it. And so the story goes in the first part about Artyom, a young boy who's 20-ish, living on an outskirts station called Exhibition. The short for the exhibition of the achievements of the popular economy from the Soviet times. And his station is threatened by horrible creatures, mutants called the Dark Ones, or in Russian the Black Ones, which was then, for the reasons of political correctness, altered in the English-speaking version. Anyway, so he's facing this threat, and nobody trusts him that this threat is gonna be the last and the ultimate menace to the mankind. So he has to venture on a sole trip journey to the center of the metro of Moscow to find help to eradicate this threat and to find a cure to this plague that is gonna be the last problem that might actually erase the humanity from even the catacombs of the subway. And that's the story of the first part. And the story of the second part, after Artyom actually destroys the Dark Ones, and then finds out that they were not a threat, but they were just different creatures who could not communicate with humans. And Artyom's own mission was to become an interpreter, and not a soldier hero who was supposed to kill to eliminate this threat, but either
sending people to camps or just shooting them, all because of the coming war. People are fleeing from Kuznetsky Most and their whole Red Line. Did you see the armored train the Reds are building? Well, we built something too, with the stuff the refugees are bringing. Here, take a look. At this baby, the boys even gave her a name. You can't help but fall in love with her. She did a swell job running refugees, but hell, you can't save everyone. So, take it. We have people in Venice too. When you get there, find Woodpecker and tell him where you left our baby. Climb aboard!
So his uniqueness was his ability to find a common language and help find common language for these creatures, the Dark Ones, and the surviving men and women. And he missed that. He misunderstood that because he was actually deformed by the society. He was disfigured by his journey. He was like battle-hardened, seasoned, and that actually killed a boy inside him that could have found a common language and help these two races communicate. And so he helps eradicate them. He helps devastate their nest. He launches the lost. He finds the lost missile silo, and he launched the missiles. And there are no more Dark Ones. And the very last moment, he understands what's happening. But it's the moment when the missiles are already falling. And so his revelation comes too late, and his epiphany comes too late. And then the second game is about the fact that because this possibility of finding a tandem between the two races that could have potentially saved the humanity, because the Dark Ones live on the surface and they're suited for living in the radiation and contaminated areas. They kind of the second missing half of humanity. They are antipodes, but at the same time, it's the antipodes that could have helped us. But Artyom is the only one who ever understands that. Everyone else thinks that he's a hero. And he's alone with this epiphany of his understanding that he is not a savior, but he is actually a mass murderer.
Quite a burden to carry.
Yes, it's a burden to carry, and that's the story that the game starts with. I was responsible for the entire plot and the dialogue of the Lost Light. I wrote it. I started writing it after the first game was released. There is a book written by myself called Metro 2034, but it tells a very different story, and it's not suitable for a video game. Then when I started writing the plot for Lost Light, it's grown so big and so complicated and so much more adult and serious than any shooter is allowed to have. Then right now I think it's overgrowing the shooter, and it's going to be a separate novel called Metro 2035 that includes this story as a fraction of a bigger plot, and that revisits the entire thing written in Metro 2033. I was 24 when the book was published first, and I started writing back in school, like when I was 17, and right now I'm 33, and it's about the right time to revisit the philosophy that seemed as correct to me when I was 10 years younger.
What did you use as your inspiration for the books?
Well, definitely my biggest inspiration was the subway of Moscow itself, and I can't even say that I'm a passenger. I used to be a dweller, because I spent 2 hours every day getting from my home to my school and back. My school was the same school my father went to and my grandmother went to. So even though we moved to a completely different part of the city, I still absolutely wanted to keep going to the same place to maintain the tradition. So I had to take daily rides of about an hour or so each direction. So all over my school years, I spent around maybe half a year underground, and it was a thrilling experience.
So have you thought about writing anything a little lighter, no pun intended? Because obviously the material you've written is quite dark and quite serious.
Right now I'm actually working on a story called Future, and I even have a website, future.re, on which it's soon gonna be launched. And this is a story of that it's about a discovery that is gonna happen quite soon, I think, within our lives, and we're gonna revolutionize human beings and society and religion and everything. And this is the physical immortality, the genetical engineering that is going to extend our lives and then ultimately keep us young forever, cause the overpopulation of Earth, and then maybe because of that change the human beings completely, not allowing us to procreate further, allowing us to stay young forever, canceling our need for souls because the bodies are going to be mortal, and so who need the soft if the heart lives forever, and then family is going to be obsolete, and then the God is going to be obsolete. So it's a very utopian, a bright utopian story that is going to be published sometimes this year, and then ultimately be translated into English. So that's the immediately next project.
Great. Thank you very much for your time
Thank you.
today.
Called the terror of the night.
Did you want something, young man? Make your choice. Everything's fresh.
So, what do you think of the fish? Good fried or in broth, whichever you like most. Oh, what do we have here?
Anything for the guests of our station.
Tell him. Should have brought iron.
Real cotton trousers. Strike. Can't find these elsewhere. Anything for the guests of our station.
Come on, move it. Look up in the time of my life. You're rolling too damn slow. You out. Sorry, you done what did you say?